Every church used to have those women, the ones who'd weathered grief and hard times and always knew just what to say when your whole world fell apart. And what they told those hurting women back then still holds true today. My name is Lucille Freeman, but everyone at church just calls me Sister Lucille. That same wisdom has walked me through more than a few storms of my own. If you'd like a little faith and encouragement to carry you through your day, take a moment and subscribe. That's exactly what I share here, so let me share it with you. Now I want you to sit with me a while, the way we used to sit out on the porch of an evening, and let me tell you about those women. In every church I ever knew, there were the mothers, the church mothers, we called them, and you know the ones I mean. The women up in years who had buried husbands and children, who had gone hungry and been done wrong and carried more grief than one heart ought to hold, and yet there they sat every Sunday morning in their good hats, steady as the pillars that held up the sanctuary. And when a young woman came apart, when her marriage broke, when the money ran clean out, when the sickness came, when she buried somebody she did not know how to live without it, was those mothers she went to. Not because they had any letters after their name, but because they had walked through the fire and come out the other side, and they knew the way. I am no scholar, and I will not pretend to be one. I never sat in any seminary. What little I have, I got the same way those mothers got it handed down, from my grandmother to my own mother to me, and from the mothers of the church who took me up under their wing when I was young and foolish and certain my troubles would be the end of me. So hear me plain. This is not my wisdom. It is theirs. I am only keeping it and handing it on the way it was handed to me. And the first thing those mothers told a woman whose whole life had fallen down around her, I have never once forgotten it, was this. They did not tell her to hush. They did not tell her to be strong or to fix her face or to get over it and move along. No. The first thing Mother Odessa ever said to me when I came to her with my eyes near swollen shut from crying was, "Baby, you go on and cry. The Lord gave you those tears for a reason, and He is not up there frowning at you for using them." She did not rush my grief. She sat down in it with me. For the old mothers knew a thing this hurried world has plumb forgotten, that grief is not a weakness to be scolded out of you, but a road you have to walk, and there is no shortcut around it, only the long way through. Weeping may endure for a night, the scripture says. It says weeping. It does not say pretend. It does not say hurry. It gives you the whole night to weep, and only promises the joy will come with the morning. I will tell you my own storm, so you know I am not speaking of a thing I have only read about. There was a season, years back now, when I lost my husband and my work inside of the same 6 months. And I did not know, some mornings, how I was going to put my 2 feet on the floor. I was angry at everybody, and I was angry at God. And I was too ashamed of being angry at God to even go and tell Him so. And it was Mother Odessa who sat me down and told me the thing I most needed. She said, "Lucille, you do not have to carry tomorrow's grief today. God gives the strength for today with today. And no sooner. You are trying to eat a whole week of sorrow in one sitting, and it is choking you." She was right. I had been lying awake, grieving things that had not even happened yet. The empty holidays to come, the years of being alone, the bills I could not see how to pay 6 months out. And she taught me what the old mothers all seemed to know, that the Lord gives manna for the day, just the day. You cannot store it up, and you are not meant to. You get up and you ask for grace enough for this one day, this 1 hour, if that is all you can manage, and it comes. And then you do it again tomorrow. Take therefore no thought for the morrow, the word says, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. She made that scripture make sense to me for the first time in my life. One day, sometimes one breath, that is all you are being asked to carry. That brings me to something I want to lay before you right here. Before we go a step further, let me pause here for just a moment. A long life of leaning on faith gives you more than any one video could ever hold. The scriptures that carried me through, the little prayers and quiet lessons that got me up on the hard mornings, I finally sat down and put all of it into a book, start to finish, laid out plain. The kind of comfort and encouragement you can return to whenever your heart is heavy. The link is pinned right at the top of the comments. That's the whole of it. In one place, no need to go hunt videos to find it. Take it or leave it. Now, let's get back to it. Mothers let you weep. But then, and this is the part that saved my life, so lean in close, they would take you by the chin and lift your face and remind you of the second half of that promise. Weeping endures for a night, yes, but joy cometh in the morning. And Mother Odessa would say it slow, so it landed. Morning, child, not never. Morning. She wanted you to hear that your night, however black it was still only a night. It had an end on it. The sun was already on its way up, even while you sat there in the dark, unable to see 1 inch in front of you. That is the thing about a night you cannot see the morning coming, but it is coming just the same whether you believe it or not. The dark does not get a vote on whether the sun rises. And so the mothers would have you say it out loud, even when you did not feel a word of it. Joy is coming in the morning. Say it till your mouth learns it. For your feelings will lie to you in the deep of the night and tell you the dark is all there is and all there ever will be. And they are lying. The morning is a promise, and the one who made it does not break his word. Now, the next thing they taught, and every one of those mothers taught, it was this: you do not carry it by yourself. I know that is hard for a proud woman, and most of us are proud in our way. We do not want anybody to see us brought low. We put on the hat and the smile, and we tell the whole congregation we are just fine, blessed and highly favored, when inside we are coming apart at every seam. And the mothers saw right through it every time. Mother Ruth used to say, God did not build you to be your own strong tower. That is his job. And he gave you sisters for the rest. When your life falls apart, the enemy of your soul wants nothing more than to get you off by yourself, isolated, ashamed, too proud to say a word, because a woman alone in the dark is far easier to convince that nobody cares and nothing will change. So the mothers would not let you hide. They would show up at your door with a plate of food you did not ask for and could not eat. And they would sit in your kitchen and let you fall apart in front of them. And they would carry what you could not carry that day. Bear ye one another's burdens, the word says, and so fulfill the law of Christ. That is not a suggestion. That is a family taking care of its own. You let somebody help you. You are not a burden for needing. You are a member of a body. And when one part is hurting, the whole body tends to it. And there was a thing the mother said that folks quote wrong all the time. So let me say it right. You have heard it. God will not put more on you than you can bear. Now, people say that as if it means your troubles will always stay small enough to handle on your own. And then when the trouble gets bigger than they can handle, they think God has broken his promise, or they think there is something wrong with them for buckling. But that is not what the old mothers meant. And it is not what the word says. Hear it careful. It says, he will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. The way to escape? The bearing was never meant to be done by your strength alone. It was always meant to be done by his. Made a way through. Mother Ruth put it like this: he does not promise the load will be light. He promises he will get down under it with you and carry the heavy end. So when a woman came to those mothers saying, this is more than I can bear, they did not argue with her. They said, then it is time to hand it over, baby, because it was never yours to carry alone in the first place. Cast all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Cast like throwing a heavy thing off your own back on the stronger shoulders. That is a thing you do on purpose, in prayer, out loud. You name the care and you hand it up and you leave it there. And when you catch yourself snatching it back, as we all do, you hand it up again, 50 times a day if that is what it takes. And here is a hard one, but the mothers never flinched from the hard ones. They would tell a woman in time, not the first night, but in time, that she was going to have to forgive. Now, I have watched a woman near come up out of her chair at that word, and I understand it. I surely do. When somebody has wronged you, has broken your home or your heart or your trust, the last thing on this earth you want to hear is forgive. It feels like letting them win. It feels like saying what they did was all right when it was not all right, when it was a sin against you and against God. But the mothers knew better, and here is what they knew. Forgiveness was never about letting the other one off the hook. It was about getting the hook out of you. Mother Ruth put it to me plain. Bitterness is a poison you drink, hoping the other person dies of it. When you will not forgive, you tie yourself to the very person who hurt you. Drag them behind you every single day, and you call it justice, but it is a chain. Forgiving them is how you cut that chain and set your own self free to walk on. It is the most selfish thing you will ever do, in the best way there is. You do it for you. You do it so the thing that broke you does not get to keep you. The mothers had a warning, too, that I have seen save more than one woman from a second heartbreak on top of her first. And it was this: do not make a permanent decision in the middle of a temporary storm. When your life has fallen apart, everything in you wants to do something drastic, pull up every root, quit the good along with the bad, cut off people who love you, walk away from things it took you 20 years to build. All because the pain is screaming at you to make it stop right now, any way at all. And Mother Odessa would take your hand and say, not today. You do not decide anything today that you cannot undo tomorrow. You are not in your right mind right now, and that is no shame. That is just grief. But grief is a poor counselor. A storm distorts everything. The way heat rising off a road makes the whole world shimmer and bend. Nothing looks its true size in the middle of it. And so the old wisdom was to wait to let the water go down before you go surveying the damage, because in the flood, everything looks like a total loss, and it is not. Give it a day. Give it a season. Do the next small thing and let the big decisions keep. The you that comes out the far side of this will thank the you that refused to burn it all down in the dark. The mothers had wisdom too, about the mind, about the thoughts that come for you in the middle of the night when the house is quiet and there is nobody to argue you out of your despair. They knew the mind is a battleground, and they taught you to guard the door of it. Mother Odessa would tap her own temple and say, you cannot always stop the bird from flying over your head, but you surely can stop it from building a nest in your hair, meaning you will have dark thoughts. You cannot help the thought that flies through, but you do not have to let it settle in and take up residence and raise a family in your mind. You watch what you let yourself dwell on, and more than that, you watch what you speak over your own self. For the old mothers believed there was death and life in the power of the tongue, and they would not let you sit there and speak death over your life. If you said, I am done, I cannot go on, my life is over, Mother Odessa would say, not in this house you don't. You call it what God calls it. This is hard, and I am hurting, and I am still here, that is what you say. You speak life, even in a whisper, even when you do not believe it yet. The believing comes after the saying more often than the world will tell you. And they taught you to keep your hands busy. Oh, this is an old, plain one, but do not pass over it. When a woman's world had fallen in, the mothers did not let her sit and rot in it. They put a task in her hands. Come help me shell these peas. Come help me fold the church linens. Come to Wednesday night and set out the chairs. Not because the chairs could not wait, but because they knew that a body sitting idle in its grief will sink. And a body with something to do, some small useful thing, keeps its head above the water one more day. There is a mercy in ordinary work. It gives your hands something to do while your heart does the slow labor of healing, which cannot be hurried and cannot be forced, but which goes along quietly underneath while you are busy with the peas and the linens and the chairs. Many a woman has told me she did not know how she got through a season. And when I asked her what she did, she said, I just kept getting up and doing the next thing. That is the whole of it. The next thing. You cannot see the whole staircase. You only have to see the next step and take it. And it may surprise you. The mothers taught you to praise before you felt like it, not after before. When your world has ended, praising God is the very last thing your flesh wants to do. And the mothers knew that and told you to do it anyway. Mother Ruth called it a sacrifice of praise. And she meant that word sacrifice with all her heart, because when praise comes easy, it costs you nothing. But when your heart is broken clean in two and you lift your hands and thank God anyhow, that costs you something. And that is exactly why it is powerful. She did not tell you to thank God for the trouble. Hear me, she never once said, be glad your life fell apart. She said, praise him in it. Praise him because he is still God in the middle of it, and he has not let go of your hand, and he has walked you through every dark valley you have ever crossed so far, has he not? You are still here. You have 100% record of surviving your worst days, or you would not be sitting here listening to me. So praise the one who brought you this far, before you can see how he will bring you the rest of the way. The feeling follows the faith. It near always does. And close kin to the praise is this, which the mothers practice faithful. In the leanest, darkest time, they made you count the small mercies out loud. Not the big deliverance you were waiting on and could not see the small ones right in front of you. You woke up. You have breath in your body. Somebody loves you. There is food enough for today. The sun came up again, whether you asked it to or not. Mother Ruth would make you name 3 of them before you were allowed to leave her porch. And some mornings, the only thing I could find was that the coffee was hot and my knees still bent to pray. But she said that was plenty, and it was. For a grateful heart and a fearful heart cannot rent the same room at the same time. One always crowds the other out. And when you train your eye to hunt for the small mercies, you slowly stop staring only at the wreckage. And you start to see that the Lord has been leaving you little provisions all along the road, quiet ones. The whole time you thought you were walking it alone. And the last thing, the thing they saved for when you had come up out of it a little way, they would tell you that your trouble was not going to be wasted. That is a hard thing to hear in the pit, so they were gentle about when they said it. But every one of those mothers believed, down to the bone, that God does not waste a hurt, that the very thing that broke you would one day be the thing that let you reach some other woman nobody else could reach, because you had been where she was, and you had the scars to prove it, and she would believe you when she could not believe anybody else. That is how it works in the family of faith. The comfort you receive, you turn around and give away. Mother Odessa used to say, the church mothers were only ever wounded women who had let God heal them enough to help somebody else. That is all a church mother is. Not a woman who never suffered. A woman who suffered and survived it and turned her survival into somebody else's map through the dark. And that is what I am doing with you right now, this very minute, if you did not notice. I am only handing you what was handed to me. So there it is, the whole of what those old mothers knew. Let yourself weep, for the night is real, but hold on to the morning, for the morning is a promise. Carry only today, and ask for the grace of the one day you are in, for the manna does not keep. Do not carry it alone. Let your sisters bear it with you, and cast the heaviest of it up onto the shoulders that were made to hold it as often as you have to. Do not burn down in one dark night what it took you a lifetime to build. Make no permanent choice inside a passing storm. Forgive, not for their sake, but for your own freedom, and get the hook out of your own flesh. Guard your mind and speak life over yourself, even in a whisper, for there is death and life in the power of the tongue. Keep your hands busy and take the next step even when you cannot see the whole staircase. Praise before you feel it, for the feeling follows the faith. And count the small mercies out loud, for gratitude and fear cannot keep house together. And know, deep down, that your hurt will not be wasted, that God will make it a lamp in your hand for some other woman feeling her way through the same dark you are in tonight. None of it costs a dime. All of it has held up for 100 years and more, through worse trouble than most of us will ever see. And it is holding still. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean that I read every last one. Tell me down below what a church mother once told you, that you have never forgotten the word that got you through. And tell me what part of the country you are writing from and what storm you are walking through right now, if you care to share it, so this whole company of us can lift you up. For these old words were never meant to be kept by one woman alone. They were meant to be passed from hand to hand, mother to daughter, sister to sister, the way they were passed to me. Next time, I want to sit with you about the prayers those same mothers prayed, the short, plain, desperate prayers they cried out when there were no fine words left, the ones the Lord seemed to answer fastest. Of all, for there is a mighty power in a short, honest, broken prayer, and I want to show you the ones the mothers leaned on hardest. Until then, you hold on. You hear me. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy, joy cometh in the morning. The people who built their faith with worn hands and worn Bibles knew that in their bones. And now, precious one, so do you. Go on and rest your weary head tonight, child. Morning is surely on its way to you, dear heart.